making sure. All right, you guys, I got a very important lesson for you guys today, and I will ask you to make sure you're taking notes. You really want to write this stuff down because this particular lesson is going to help you in your Forex journey beyond words. I promise you it will. Let me get my notes. So today we're talking about the side of Forex that nobody really wants to talk about. Okay, give me a second. This is some stuff that I wish people would have talked to me about before I had gotten started with Forex. It's a wonder to me. It's a wonder to me why that I could scour the internet even now, years later, searching for information on Forex. And I can find all kind of information on strategies, indicators, people showing off, their form of success, which I really don't have a problem with. They show their houses, Lambos, whatever they want to do, that's fine. But I really have a problem with the fact that I can't find the truth about what Forex does to people. I'm amazed about that. And then if you go further and you just look at people who are generally putting up videos of success and they actually really do have success, it's like they don't want nobody to know the truth about what happens on how to get there. And that bothers me. Because if you're trying to display something to encourage people to follow your steps, wouldn't it be wise to let them know what the journey was like for you so that they're not caught off guard? And Forex is notorious for this. There's promises all over the place, but nobody talks about the peril. Nobody talks about the real stuff that goes on that everyone experiences, but it's like a taboo. Don't nobody want to say nothing. I wonder why. Today, I'm going to do something that normally you wouldn't hear done. I'm going to bring up some dark side. There was a movie that was created by Transformers, and it was called The Dark Side of the Moon. And it was a pretty action-packed movie, but the premise of the movie was they were taking you to a side of the moon that was being hidden, and they were saying that there was a reason why the astronauts were never sent back to the moon again, which to this day, I still find it interesting too. We go to the stars, we now trying to go to Mars, but not one bit about us trying to go back to the moon. Why is that? Well, that's the movie. The premise of it was that they were hiding something that they didn't want people to know. You hear what I'm saying? And so in Forex, it's pretty much like that. There's a dark side of the moon to Forex. And nobody has a conversation about it. It's like it doesn't exist. Yes, it does exist. And today I'm going to have a very deep conversation with all of you guys about it because you need to be aware of the journey that you're on. When you get past this, you'll find that Forex wore your behind up for absolutely nothing. But the journey itself, to get your eyes to be open to see, is a very tumultuous, very, very tumultuous journey. And it takes a toll on people. And you need to be aware of this. And I really promise you, if you're brand new to Forex, thank God you have tuned into my channel so I can save you untold heartaches and pains that you can avoid these things that I'm about to talk about today. So that when you do get on your Forex journey, it'll be a much more pleasant ride with far less bumps and bruises that comes along with it. But if you have been on the Forex journey for a while, the things that I'm going to talk about today, it's going to resonate with you. And you'll have a chance to make adjustments to yourself so that your ride will become a whole lot better and smoother. But thus far, for some of you guys, your journey been horrible. Would you agree? Type a number 1 in the box if I'm telling the truth thus far. Type a number 1 if I'm talking to you so far. Your journey has been tumultuous. So, but Kelvin said double 1. Yeah. So somebody's asking me about pips, and obviously I don't know, maybe this is your first time tuning in, but when we're lecturing during class, we ain't talking about pips. I do that videos during the week. Right now, this is something, this is again why you need to be here, because this is the part that people do wrong. They're focused on pips, and not realizing that the market is going to take you behind for a ride, because that's all you're focused on. And that's exactly the point. That's the trick. They want you to always chase the pips. And meanwhile, you're going to become a very destructive person to yourself and those around you. So again, I'm glad you're here, but that's not what we're doing today. So let's focus on this first, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm going to help you. So focus on this, and then when I'm done, you'll see why that should not be the top focus, because by the time you figure out Forex, it is beyond easy. It's just downright simple. It's a routine that you just do. It's no thinking behind it. But if you don't get past what I'm going to talk about today, it will destroy you. And I am seeing lives being destroyed because of Forex and because you're not being mentored properly. So let's begin. I want to share a story with you, and this is actually the truth. And it's so funny that this happened, because this just happened yesterday, but I had already had my notes for today's class or today's lecture on Friday. So I was prepared to talk about this, and then this conversation literally happened just yesterday. I have several coders who work for me when I'm creating indicators. So I don't use just one person. I work with a team of people. And this is one of the people I've been working with for some time, one of them. Okay, I work with several of them, but one of them I've been working with for a long time. And I do care about the people who work for me. I care about not just what work they do for me, but their families and everything else. Holistic approach. So let's listen in. I want you guys to listen in. And then I'm going to go through my notes, and you're going to see why this class was more important than talking about pips and Forex and indicators. This one here is more important. Because if you get this right, that over there, the charts, it's going to be a whole lot less pressure on you. So I want you to listen in. While you grab pens and paper to get ready to take notes when I'm done with this, listen to this person. Here it is. And I actually copied it word for word. Here it is. So yesterday I'd asked them about an update on the indicator that I wanted them to look into for me, to do some adjustments for me. And they said, I'm still working on it. I will get you, the updates. Now here's where it comes in. My response was, no problem. Are you doing okay? Is the more important question. I want you to listen to this personal conversation I just had with one of my staff yesterday, one of my coding staff. I said, the more important question is, are you doing okay? Reply, on the trading side, I'm doing great. On the personal, I do not like to talk about that. Uh-oh. I said, understood. He said, well, nice that your trade. I said, well, it's nice that your trading is doing well now. On the personal side, I will pray for you, is what I said to him. You should be doing well since you create indicators for it anyway. This person replied, I discovered a lot of new edges of my personality when I focused on trading. If you are in my group, how many times have I told you, and I'm pausing on this story, how many times have I told you I can never answer the question about what trading pairs should you trade with? Why? Because the first question I always tell you to go back to is what? What is your personality like? Oh, we're going to get deep into this. Oh, if you got trading teams and this and that, I ain't going to, that's fine. But you need to get them on here, because this is part of what they're dealing with too. Let's keep going. This is going to be good. I promise you. He said, I discovered a lot of new edges of my personality when I focused on trading. And I said, that tends to happen. The market introduces you to you. It will also make you very happy or turn you into an angry, impatient monster. He said, yes, I agree. I said, trading is a very emotional business. Please write that word down. Trading is an emotional business. He said, I use no emotions with trading at all. Emotion in trading is a mind game trap between you hesitation and blaming. Now, he's from a different country, so of course his English is a little broken. But he said that his mind, he said that trading is an emotion, a game of emotions that traps you between hesitation and blaming. I said, if you are dealing with a lot of personal problems already, the markets are not a very good place to get involved in. But maybe you are the one exception since you create indicators for it. Yes, coded things make my trading less emotional. I say yes. And then we went on to talk about what's the favorite, He concluded by saying, thank you for being my friend. And he also said, you know what? I don't even like talking about my personal self. I said, but that's why I'm here. I'm a friend. The point is this, you guys. Write this down. Number one, here we go. The Forex market is one of the most emotionally abusive relationships you can ever have. Write this down. I promise you by the time we're done here, you're going to find out, if you haven't already experienced it, that all of that we're going to talk about today is very true. So number one, Forex is an emotionally abusive business. It is designed to play with your emotions. It is designed that way. Some of you guys are dealing with a lot of anger. You're very angry now, and you weren't that way before you started trading Forex. But that's because nobody told you that the game of Forex is not just about the price action patterns and the candlesticks and the reversals and the dojis and the hangmans and all these different things. All those different bumps up and down, tick, 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 tick. It's designed that way. And nobody introduced you to that part of the game. The way your brokers treat your account is designed to play with your emotions. The market makers, they know how most people's psychology actually is. So they design the markets to play with you. If this is true so far with some of you guys, type a number 2 in the box. Type a number. I want to see number 2s. Make sure we're all collectively together. And if you're brand new to Forex, you better be glad you're listening in, because this segment of your journey, you're going to be able to cut it out and not even have to deal with it. And if you're brand new, look at the number 2s. This is from people who've been trading. They know. Let's keep going. I have a friend who I used to live next to. Back in the day, several years ago, I had built a house and I stayed around the corner from, and you guys may know some of these names, Deion Sanders, the football player. And I also stayed around the corner from Torrey Hunter, the baseball player. So if you know baseball, then you know who Torrey Hunter is, okay? So when I stayed around the corner from Torrey Hunter, they had a father-son breakfast one time. Watch this. They had a father-son breakfast one time for the football players, which my son played on football with his boys, Torrey Jr. and his other son. And I remember Torrey and I were sitting together talking. And I think that's when he had just got that $25 million contract. He had just got it, okay? They extended his contract somewhere else, or he had just went to another team and they gave him a $25 million contract. I forgot what it was. But anyway, the brother just got a $25 million contract. That's a lot of money, right? So we were sitting together talking as our sons were preparing breakfast for the father-son breakfast. And he began to tell me stories about how he began in baseball, how he was sleeping on floors, and when he was in college, sleeping on the floor and this and that. And then eventually he was consistent. He was telling me this. He asked me a question that I never forgot. And I want you guys to hear this real good. His question to me was this. He said, do you know the difference between a professional baseball player and an amateur? And this applies also to Forex traders. Do you know the difference between a professional Forex trader and an amateur? And I'm going to tie this all together. Just hang tight. Sit down and relax. Kick your shoes off. I'm going to teach you some things you really need to know. So here's what he told me. He said the difference between a professional baseball player and an amateur is simply this. He said a lot of professional baseball players are all going, he's saying all, but he said some are going through a divorce, some are going through this, some are going through that, and that. Now I'm just paraphrasing. But he said the professional baseball player, once he walks onto the field and leaves the locker room, he has learned to leave his emotions in the locker room. All his personal problems, all that stuff, he leaves it exactly where it needs to be, which is in the locker room once he hits the field. Once he's done playing the game and he goes back to the locker room, then he picks up his emotional problems and go from there. But the moment he's on the field in action, his personal problems, they must leave it on in the locker room. They don't bring it onto the field. He said an amateur baseball player brings both their skills to the baseball field and their emotions. Type in number 10 in the box if you heard exactly what I said. I want to see if you guys are catching on so far between the professional and the amateur. Because what I just said about Torrey's story in pro baseball is the exact same problem that you're having in Forex. And we're going to go deeper on this. Good. I see the number 10. So you guys are rocking with me. You get me so far. Can you see where you possibly are? And I haven't even started with a lecture today, but can you possibly see where part of this problem is? If you're dealing with personal problems and you're dealing with a highly emotional business, which is targeted towards destroying your emotions, can you see why you're in a bad situation in Forex? The market itself is designed to tamper and fool around with your emotions. You're already having personal emotional problems, not because you're crazy, but because of the pressure and the different things you already got going on. So you combine these two monsters together and nothing good comes out of it for you. Can you see why even the simplest strategy, you can muck it up? Not because of the strategy, but because of what's going on in your head. And this is the dark side of Forex, because they know people are dealing with this. They know people come to Forex who needs money, and therefore they tamper with the market, which means they're tampering with you. Let me ask a question, just entertainment purposes before we go further, because I want to make sure that you're buying into what I'm trying to tell you before we go further. Because if I just give you notes, you just, whatever. Let me go deeper with this. Let me ask you a real question. Have you ever entered into a trade and it felt like the moment you entered it, it's like the market knows you personally just entered the market and they hit your stop loss before going in the direction you knew it was going to go? Have it ever happened to you where it felt like your personal trades are being attacked? Have you ever felt that way? Type in number 17 in the box if you have ever felt that way, like you just been under attack because you entered the trade. Come on now. In here, we tell the truth. There we go. Bring them 17s, you know, because it happened to me. Because I didn't know no better. Nobody told me about all this. Somebody said too many times. Exactly. See, bring them 17s to me. See, in here, we don't, that's what, and whoever was asking me about talking about pips, do you see why on Sunday lectures, I'm not pipping. I ain't talking about pips. I'm talking about getting your head straight before you get them pips. You know how many people want me to mentor them? I can't, because until you get your head fixed, I can show you the simplest strategy and you're going to muck it up because you got too much going on emotionally and you're overthinking. I can't tell you the number of students who came to me and they finally got the light. And they said, man, I've been overthinking this thing the whole time. Yeah, this is why we're talking today, so that I can clear the clutter in your head. Because by the time simple information goes into one end and start going through all the muck and mire and the trails, the junk you got in your head and comes out the other side, the simple strategy came out as over complex and now you're overthinking it and you're screwing yourself up. because there's other things and other factors that's going on. And unfortunately, the Forex market is targeting people who don't have their head together. Now, don't forget the story I just told you, because at the end of this, you're going to realize I see the difference. Again, professional baseball players walk onto the field and they focus on the game only. And then they go back to the locker room and pick up their feelings afterwards. Amateur baseball players walk onto the field with both their skill and their emotions, and that's why they can be at their peaks. Forex traders, who are retail amateur traders, walk onto the market with feelings already. And we're going to dig into that. Professional Forex traders have a very simple mechanical way of trading that allows them to do what? Not even think about the trades. I just read you a personal story. And if you're just tuning in, you want to go back and play this from the beginning. I literally just read a personal story, a personal conversation from one of my coding staff from us dialoguing yesterday. I have several of them who work for me, and this is one that I was checking on him on something, and we got to talking. He said that when it comes to trading, he's doing just fine because he has his way of trading, and it is very mechanical. He doesn't think about it. But he said, I don't even want to talk about my personal side. That's not you. So come along on this journey. Let's talk. Now here, pens up. Start writing pretty quickly. Number one, again, Forex is one of the most emotionally abusive relationships you can ever have. Your broker is involved, your market makers are involved, YouTube people are involved. And I know I'm on YouTube, but yes, I'm doggone it. Why do you think I'm doing something different? Because even when I scoured and was looking for an answer, everybody was toting their systems and their indicators and their cars, but nobody was telling me about this stuff that everybody goes through. Nobody. And that's why I'm here. I'm helping you to get your head straight. Number two, right. It will expose weaknesses in you. Some of you guys, this, as we go along this list, and you know what I like, and let me say this first. One of the things I like about this Sunday lecture is because you have no way of combating me. And you can't, there's nobody standing around you where you can fake it. It's just you and me and truth. That's the good part about it. There's no more faking. It's just you dealing with the truth. As long as you're able to handle it and listen all the way to the end of my lectures every week, it's just you and the truth. So as I go along with this, as we go deeper, I promise you'll probably find yourself somewhere in this journey. And that's why I'm here, to rescue your soul. By the way, before we go further, write this down. Oh, this is going to be so good. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you guys. Write this down. I told some of you guys this who tuned in before, but I'm going to teach this to you again. Write down the word soul, S-O-U-L. Write it down. Right. Quick, because this is off the chart and ain't got nothing to do with the lecture, and I want to get done on time. But write this word down, soul. Jesus saved my what? Soul. Here's what it actually means. The word soul actually means three things, according to my research. It means your mind, will, and emotions. Write that down quick, so we can get back on task. But this is very important because as we go through this list, you're going to see how your soul is being affected through Forex. You're going to see how the brokers and the market makers are affecting your soul in Forex. The word soul, again, write this down, write the word soul, equals mind, will, and emotions. Write it down. The dark side of Forex ain't gonna be dark for you no more. And if you choose to share this with any of your Forex partners, and before you guys analyze charts, analyze where you are with your soul. so that by the time you go to the charts, your mind is completely clear and focused on just the task at hand. Because right now you think you're doing that, but you're not. So let's begin. Let's see how your soul is being affected. Watch this. The markets will expose weaknesses in you. As my partner said, I don't mind talking about trading and coding, but he said, I don't want to talk about my personal life because the market exposed me to myself. It makes you number three. It makes you a liar, and it makes you sneaky to those closest to you. Some of you guys, you haven't been telling the truth. You were an honest person before, but now you're sneaky. And you say, well, what do you mean by that? Number one, you lie to yourself. How many times have you said, okay, I'm just going to be on this charts. I'm going to spend about 30 minutes marking my charts and I'm out of here. And yet 2 hours later, you're always sitting at the charts. See, the lies start with you first. You're being dishonest with yourself. Then when you execute your plan, which has some flaws to it because you didn't interpret how the markets are built to manipulate your emotions, not just candlestick patterns, it's built to mess with your emotions. If you ever look at a trend from a higher time frame, you can see the trend was clearly going up. They know, right. They know that most Forex traders have no patience and they're going to select to choose to trade the lower time frames, aka primarily the 1 minute and 5 minute. And because of that, there's easy pickings for those who are not professional scalpers to get their behind kicked up and down the court. Because they're going to blink it in all these different directions just to knock your stocks off and keep hitting your stop loss. And you keep coming back with 50 different strategies thinking that was going to fix the problem. But because you don't have the right perspective of how to look at the market, you keep losing, but you won't quit. And they are counting on you doing that. But if you ever look at a trend on a higher time frame, you can clearly say, oh, this is an uptrend. Oh, this is a downtrend. Then why in the heck are you constantly getting your butt kicked in? Because the markets are built that way. They build them around how people think, not how they trade. Type in number 12 in the box if you find there's some truth so far already. Type in number 12 if you find a truth already. If this is clicking to you so far, and we ain't even finished yet, if this is clicking to you so far, type in number 12 in the box. Can you see how they're getting you? This is the dark side of Forex. They built it around you. That's why it feels personal when you lose a trade. Because it is, family. You have personally joined into the thinking process of everybody else, and to the point where you will defend your losing ways to anybody who tries to mentor you or change your mind. You will defend it, knowing goodness well you ain't made a withdrawal since Adam met Eve. Which means never. You ain't never did a withdrawal. And the markets are built to play with people like you because they know what retail traders think and how they act and how they bring emotions onto the field. And so they designed the shorter time frames to attack you. And they know that most Forex traders will come in and waste a ton of money on everything but mentorship. They know it. They know it. Let me give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, go on my Forex channel. Go right on my Forex channel and go look and tell me if I didn't do this for y'all. You're welcome. Go back and look at that video that I labeled how your broker is, I forgot the name of it, but it had to do with your broker, how your brokers is stealing from you or something like that. Go back and look at that live video for an example. And I took live trades. I have been telling y'all for how long, I just don't know. I said, don't ever take no trades at the beginning of the Forex trading day, which is at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm trying to help some of y'all. And yet there are people out there who have tuned in and heard what I had to say, still building strategies around the opening of the market. See, this is how the day ends. So the next day when it opens, the next day, here's the this and that. And they come with these dumb strategies. Glenn said he watched it last night. Okay, so therefore, watch this, Glenn. Watch this. I have said, don't touch the market when it's a new day in Forex. And I said, what is a new day in Forex? 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the new day in Forex. I don't give a rat's behind where you live in the world. It doesn't matter whether you live in the U.S. or anywhere, Uganda or wherever. In Forex, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the start of the new day. And I did a live video taking a couple of live trades at the 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I showed you how the brokers, your brokers, there you go, somebody already on it. The brokers will open them spreads by 10, 15, and 20 pips. And yet you're building a strategy around the market open, and they know you. They know you love these tight butt stop losses of 5 and 10 and 15 pips. And so they open the spread by that amount. 15 to 20 pips on regular spreads. Why? They don't have to move the candles. They just move the spreads. And they took you out. And you sitting there baffled. Why did I lose the trade when I used to trade? The candles didn't move. The candles, and you going the freaking heck off. Because they played you. You weren't prepared for the game you entered into. You think you're going to step your little behind into a $5 trillion or $6 trillion a day business? Don't need no coaching, no nothing? And you think you're going to cash out and drive a Lambo tomorrow? Are you kidding me? And they know you ain't going to spend no money on coaching. Are you hearing what I'm saying, loved one? And as we go through this list, they are also including this about most look, there's a show on TV called Criminal Minds. Criminal Minds. There's a show on TV called Criminal Minds. And what they do is they build mental profiles. They call them profilers. And they create profiles around criminals based on the facts that they've been given. And they say, based on the information you gave us, here's the profile. We think the murderer is in his 30s. He's possibly white or black, and he has an inclination of possibly having emotional issues when he was growing up. And they built these profiles around the criminals to try to catch them. The Forex market did you the same way. That's why every time you lose a trade, it feels personal. They built a profile around the average thinking of the retail trader. And as we go deeper into this, you're going to see they even include some of this, and this is why you're feeling the way you are. So let's keep going. Number one, they know that when you lose money, you ain't going to tell your family. Your significant other keep wondering, where's the money going to? You ain't said nothing. You keep lying, saying, oh, I had to pay an extra bill. It wasn't an extra bill. It was you putting money into that live account when you should have been staying in demo to test to see if you really had something working. But you so busy trying to, like the person who asked me in the beginning, do you see where I'm going with this? You asked me in the beginning to tell me about your pips, how much pips you make. Do you see why I don't rush into that? Because that's exactly the trap. They want you to be so focused on making money until you won't listen to truth. And if I don't tell you about pips, you out of here. I'm done with him. I don't like him. Fine. You think I care? Doesn't hurt me one bit. But it's going to hurt you because you're falling right into their hands. Very few Forex traders are wise enough to come into the markets and test an actual strategy first in demo before they start going live with real money. And so you keep losing money before you even know if the strategy that you came up with is actually going to really work over time. You should a minimum of a month, 2, 3, to get 3. Can you do 2 weeks? Can you do 2 weeks? No, you need money now. And they built that into the psychological profile of the average retail trader. You have no patience. Number two, they know that you want to be a scalper because the money is faster, but they know you have not been trained professionally. By the way, I want to send a shout out to Miss Jenny in our Signals group. Absolute lovely, kind person. I got to give her a shout out because last week they clocked over 4,300 pips and no losses. But that's because she's in there teaching and mentoring them on how to scalp. Holding their hands and showing them here's a strategy specifically for scalping. They don't even use simplicity with it. They blend it, but she also has something else that she adds in there because you have to tweak what you're doing to fit outside of the emotional and psychological profile they built for scalpers. And so they clocked 4,300 pips, no losses last week because of professional scalping. Not some of y'all just jumping on with a new strategy. Well, I add the 50 moving average when it crosses below the 200 moving average and then, and they know all that stuff and they don't care. Come on now. The truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. Let's keep going. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody in that group and they said, no, it was 4,900 pips. See, somebody in the group. They're in there. I told you I'm gonna make this stuff up. I ain't got to. Miss Jenny is a kind, oh, I love that girl. She's just so kind, but so professional. See, somebody, I didn't even know that. See, almost 4,900 pips up. Thanks, Mike, for correcting me. See, that's somebody who's in there. Because you want to learn. But let's keep going. For those who ain't. Let's keep going, because I ain't trying to promote. I'm just putting that out there. I just want to tell her thank you. The next one. Some of you guys, if you ain't careful, and this is something that has probably happened to some of you guys who's on now, and we're going to have thousands of people watch us on there. You probably there now. And here's the bad part about I need to pray for you more often. Because the life of a Forex trader, if you ain't getting the help you need, and I went through it, I didn't have the help I needed, you may find yourself on this next one. Some of you guys, if you ain't careful, that Forex market can make you depressed. Some of you guys are depressed now. And here's the bad part about being depressed. I was praying about this, and I told you guys last week, a definition came to my mind for depression is this: disappointment on steroids. So write that down. Depression. Disappointment on steroids. Forex will, I can't tell you the untold number of people who are actually depressed right now because of Forex. They used to be happy people until they started doing Forex. And because when you lose, it's such a personal thing. And can't nobody really help you with how you're going to feel because it's just you and them charts. It's just you and them charts in the midnight hour. And when you lose money, you got to come up with an excuse. So you walking around smiling in front of people while you're crying on the inside. This market will destroy you. Doggone it, I'm telling the truth. No, I'm telling the truth. The truth will set you free. I told you, I have yet to find a video about anybody talking about any of this stuff. Type a 30 in the box if you know I'm telling the truth. And I don't mean it happened to you. Maybe you have a Forex group, but type a 30 if you know I'm on point with this stuff today. And you wonder why the gentleman, I meant no disrespect to you at all, but absolutely I ain't talking about no pips today, because you need this right here. Well, how many pips do you clock? You don't need to know nothing about no pips. Everybody and mama talking about pips, but ain't nobody telling you this right here. Look at the 30s pouring in. The truth will set you free. So by the time you go back to look for pips, your mind is clear, your emotions are left off the field, and you become a professional trader. Some of you guys are depressed right now, or you know somebody who trades Forex and they're depressed because of the pressure of trying to succeed while losing money. while trying to avoid who's scamming me and this, that, and the other. Your whole mind is in a whirlwind. Some of you guys, you're so bad off. You used to be excited on Sunday when you knew the market was going to open. Now you're intimidated. Write this next one down. Write this next one down. This is going to be deep. So not only do you have a love-hate relationship with the Forex market now, but now you've created the next issue in your life. Write this word down, and don't you steal it. You better put hashtag Uncle P or hashtag superezforex. Don't you steal my quote. Don't you pretend like you came up with this. I earned this one. I earned this next one because it was me. Market addiction. Write it down. Market addiction. Market addiction. Please write that down. When you are continuously failing in Forex and you are not properly being mentored on what to look out for in these traps, you ultimately develop a lying, sneaky personality. You could end up with sadness or depression. And again, the word depression, we're going to create our own terminology for it, which is, hold on, give me 1 second. I got so much in my head. So depression is disappointment on steroids. Okay. You thought you were going to come into the market and just come out in 2 weeks with a Lamborghini. You did the markups on your charts, and for some reason you're still failing. And so now you're dealing with depression. And now depression doesn't stop you. And they market makers, watch this. You wonder how they're making so much money off of you. Here's what happens. Because on the back of one side of your mind, you realize, okay, I know there has to be some truth to this Forex market because I know too many people who actually did it. But on the other side, you're saying, but I don't think it's really real. I don't think it's going to happen. So you got this war going on in your head, one hanging on and clinging on by faith, believing. That's what faith is, the belief that it's possible. The other side saying, I've been through so much in this, everybody, I'm going to try 50 strategies, ain't nothing, I need to quit. And how many times have you said you was going to quit, only to come right back again? Come on, loved one, I'm slapping you with truth. How many times have you said you're going to quit and you back again? And they know it. Market addiction. They got you trapped. Type 100 in the box if you know I'm telling the truth. Come on, come. Type 100 in the box if you know I'm telling the truth. The truth will set you free. You hate the markets. You feel like every trade you take, they're targeting you. You said you're going to quit, but then you're back. You can't quit. You're crying, but you can't quit. You're an angry person now, but you can't quit. You say, I'm not going to have anything else to do with this, but then you find yourself back on another YouTube video or scouring the internet, checking out whatever free indicators you can find because you don't want to pay. Come on now. Come on now, tell the truth. Yeah, this is 100% truth. See, what happens is that you got to go deep into yourself to be able to do a video like this, to tell the truth. That's why you will probably never find a video. Never in Forex on any YouTube channel or anywhere else you go that's going to tell you this, because they know you got to dig deep into your painful journey to pull this out, because only a real Forex trader who's been through hell and back can actually do a video like this. That's why I resonate with your soul. And what is your soul? Your mind, your will, and your emotions. This is touching your soul because you know I'm telling the truth. I'm helping you in a way that nobody else can, because not even your family who doesn't trade Forex can understand what you're going through. They know, they see you coming out of there with an attitude, angry, mean, depressed, moody. You're physically there, but you're mentally not there no more. They see all that, but they don't understand it. Only another Forex trader who's been through hell understands that. That's why I'm helping you. I'm exposing this side of the market. Because the psychological profile, just like on Criminal Minds, the psychological profile hasn't been built to understand the average retail trader. And until you're willing to break this emotional habit, I don't give a crap what you do over here. You can write up and drop all the trend lines and support and resistance areas you want. You're still part of this group that they're targeting. Because they're playing with this part of you, not that part. Now you understand why Forex ain't easy. It's easy, but it ain't easy. Some of you guys are depressed. You don't even recognize yourself no more in the mirror. And then on top of that, you're so completely lost. You say, I'm going to quit, but here you go again. And that's why I'm here, to help you. You're dealing with, quote unquote, market addiction. You don't know how to stop now. Painful. One day I'm going to make it. And yet, while you're trying to achieve the goal of success in Forex, you're losing your mind, your emotions. You're losing your soul, loved one. And if you ain't getting nothing else out of this video, maybe, have you ever thought, maybe just take a break for a couple of weeks? Just take a month off. Take a month off so you can clear your head. Just take a month. The market ain't going nowhere. The market was there before you even existed. It'll be there when you get back. So taking a couple of weeks off, take a vacation, take a month off. It ain't gonna hurt you. It ain't gonna harm your loved one. But it'll help you beyond words, so that every word I'm sharing with you, and we're almost done, every word I'm sharing with you will soak in and have a chance to have some space in your head. Right now, you're so full of 50 strategies, 50 indicators, this, that, and that. Your mind is so clogged up with possibility plus failure, which means confusion. You're depressed and you're all over the place. And you're no good to yourself or to anyone who's around you. Maybe you just need to take a break. Break the market addiction. Break the addiction. And while we're talking about this, let me say something to you guys. And those who's in my group know I'm very tenderhearted. I end up sometimes helping you to the point where I'm crying on the camera during class because I want to make sure y'all understand how to win. I care so much. I have learned never, don't you ever put your mouth on somebody else talking bad about somebody else. Oh, they addicted. They got drug addictions. Oh, they got this gambling addiction. Hold on, person. Forex just trapped you too. You got a gambling addiction now. See, before you was putting other people down, oh, they so weak, they this and that. You probably talking crazy to your significant other and other people. You need to shut your doggone mouth. Because they got you too. Now you got your own problem, your own addiction. It's called market addiction. You can't quit. You can't quit. Now, welcome to the world of addiction. Well, I don't smoke crack. I don't smoke. So what? What makes you so superior to somebody else? Well, you dealing with your own addiction now that you can't break. Well, it's just a different flavor of poison. So don't you put your negative mouth on somebody else ever again. You better humble yourself. Because now they got you trapped and you can't figure your way out. So be more kind-hearted to other people who's dealing with it. It wasn't until I hated the markets. I had to hate the market before I began to understand it. I hated what it did to me. For those who have been tuning in, I have told you for the longest, and those my students, one time we were on Valentine's Day, this past Valentine's. On Valentine's Day is my wedding anniversary. And me and my wife just celebrated 7 years. And I just so happen, because every morning when I'm doing my class, what she does, she comes upstairs from her office, and she always just a lovely person, always checking on me. Hey, honey, do you got some water? Do you have something to drink? Do you need anything while you're doing your class? And I was in the middle of talking to my students about what the journey was like for me. And I said, yes, it's great that we had 7 years of marriage with this wonderful woman. But to be honest, 4.5 of those years, I was an absentee husband. not physically, but mentally, because technically my mind was always on the charts. And I said it wasn't until I hated Forex, it wasn't until then where I had to make that emotional break from it until I was able to come back and see it for what it actually was. And it broke me down so deep. And what was funny, because when she had walked in the office, I was just having that conversation with him. And I said, baby, they need to hear you say this. I said, baby, you remember my journey? And she just said a few kind words about, yes, she remembered how bad it was, how I wasn't really there. I was there, but I wasn't really there. Let me give you an example, market addiction people, just in case you don't understand what I'm saying. Because we do have bougie people who act like they don't never go through nothing with the superiority attitude. No, it's the truth. I still remember going to movie theaters on movie dates. Now, you know, at a movie theater, you're supposed to be focused on the movie. This is before COVID. Phones are supposed to be off. But some of you guys was doing this too, market addiction. You the only one sitting in the corner while the movie going on, everybody else enjoying popcorn and snacks, and you on your phone staring at that trade. Only one with a light on in the movie theater, in the corner. I wish I was a Forex police. I would have walked in the theater and caught you. I didn't even need a flashlight. I would have just found a person sitting in the corner with their phone on every 20 seconds, staring at their phone. And I say, hey, come out of here. You're a Forex trader. Get out this movie theater. You're interrupting the guests. Come on now, you know I'm telling the truth. You're supposed to be on the date eating a meal and you on your phone staring at the trade. I told you I took my wife one time to Olive Garden. Never forget this. And it was a gentleman walking his lovely family in, his wife and kids. They sat the family down at the table, a table or two away from us before COVID. And I'll never forget what I saw. The man sat there with his family, and then he propped up his laptop right on the table. Couldn't even enjoy an Olive Garden meal with his family because he was staring at them freaking charts. I tell my students all the time, I used to be scared to, when I was trying to scalp and didn't know no better, I was scared to go to my bathroom is right there. Scared to go to my bathroom and go take a pee. Because the market might spike and hit my stop. Scared to move. But I wouldn't quit. And it's not encouraging you to quit Forex altogether. It's encouraging you to take a break so that you can have mental space to gather, where am I really in here? Is he really telling the truth about me? When was the last time you looked in the mirror and stared yourself in the eye where nobody else is around but just you and said, you know what? I am dealing with market addiction. You even have a trading plan. And you say, I'm not going to look at the charts until this time. I'm going to trade the London session. I'm going to trade the Tokyo session. And yet it's the New York session and you're on the charts. You're on the charts almost 24/7. You barely sleep now. You're dealing with sleep deprivation because of the markets. And the market makers are enjoying you because they know you will not quit putting live money into a live account when you should be in demo to at least test it for 2 or 3 weeks. And the more money you lose, the more money you put in to make up the money you just lost, because you feel like, oh, I got to hurry up and make that money back. And then you put more money into the trading account and they know you're going to keep refilling it. You're dealing with gambling addiction now. So shut your mouth about other people. Come on now. Am I not telling the truth? Type a yes in the box. You know I'm telling the truth. Come on. It's just us Forex traders. We can just chat. We're almost done here. Chat. I got 6 minutes. Come on. I only do 1 hour. Chat. Am I telling the truth? No matter what happens, you keep refilling your account. Come on, type a yes. Come on. The truth will set us free. Come on. Come. Yep, there we go. Tell the truth. I told you. Because you're dealing with market addiction, and I'm here to help you. You have to break it. And I'll give you a simple clue how. Let me finish this last one, and we'll give you the clue when we're done. Actually, Yeah, we need to finish this. Not only are you dealing with thoughts of depression, but your thoughts are now a personal failure. You used to say, "Oh, I lost a trade." Now you're now considering yourself a personal failure. And the bad part about the Forex market, it's a multi-trillion-dollar machine, and it runs over people and care less about whose blood it sheds. It doesn't care about your blood. It doesn't care about your emotions. It does not care anything about you. So first of all, I know it feels personal when you lose a trade, but now you understand why. It has nothing to do with you personally. They just pretty much know when people enter trades exactly where they're going to put their actual stop loss and take profits. They just know. And so what they'll do is they'll stop hunt those first because you just fit right in with the group. So it's not personal per se, it's just group mentality. Or they talk about herd immunity, which means if everybody get vaccinated, then we can defeat the virus because everybody's now as a herd, as a group, we all vaccinated and have defense. Well, it's a herd mentality in Forex. And they just know how you think. And until you get mentored out of that, you're just going to be the common target. Can you see what I'm saying? Tina, I'm glad you're a newbie. You came right on time. See, you get mentorship so you ain't got to deal with none of this foolishness. Because I promise you can be new, but you're going to feel old real quick without it. Because this happens to Forex traders. Why? Because that's the psychological makeup of the market. Now, while you studying candlesticks, reversal candles, this and that, dojis and dragonflies and this and that sound real good. You got all that knowledge up in your head and you still losing. Why? Because the psychological makeup of the market is built around taking retail traders' money and those who are unaware. Now, I'm saying that's the whole makeup of the market, but it's primarily a lot of it. Think about it like this, and I told my students if I was really smart, I wouldn't even be into this type of business on the Forex side. I said, I'm really not that smart. Because had I been real smart, and I've noticed that a lot of Forex traders who've been doing this and selling indicators, they actually flipped the script. And they started building out their own trading platforms, their own MT4s and their own trading service. And I said, that's so smart. Because you know what happens with market addicted traders who don't know when to stop trading? Don't stick to a trading plan, constantly refilling your account with live money instead of staying in demo like you promised you would. Now you're going home lying to your family, talking about, well, I don't know, I had an extra bill to pay. That wasn't no extra bill, it was your addiction. Trading platforms are smart because every trade you open, you have to pay the piper a spread, a broker's fee. In what? Pips. They're making thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pips every single day off of your addicted behind. Thousands of pips every day off of you. And they didn't have to open one trade to get it. Isn't that wise? Think about it. And they know that you're addicted to the market and you don't know to do what Uncle P said. Don't ever open a trade at the opening of the market. Don't ever. Miss Tina, whoever your name was, if you brand new, here's a free piece of advice. Don't you ever take a trade at the opening of the market. Ever. Because here's what the brokers do. Number one, they advertise, oh, our spreads are low. What pairs are they showing you guys? The Euro USD typically, or maybe one other pair. Well, because the volume of traders who trade the Euro USD, they don't have to have big spreads on that. So they advertise that, but they know by the time they sucker you into the market, you're going to trade every other instrument as well. And then when you trade those at the 5 p.m. Eastern Standard, look at my live video. I showed a live proof. I took a trade on a pair, a couple of them, at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Spreads was 20 and 30 pips, 15 and 20 pips. I took a trade on them same exact ones. About an hour later, the pips are only about 2, 3, 4 spreads in pips. Same exact pair. See, they're making boatloads of pips daily off of your addicted behind because you won't quit. You won't stay in demo to learn. You won't listen. They hit your stop loss because you're scalping with a 5 and 10 pip stop loss, and they know where you're going to put your stuff at. and boom, they got you. Just constantly playing all over you. And meanwhile, you're going emotionally and mentally into a deeper hole over and over and over again. You're sinking with no rescue on the way other than today, so that somebody can help you say, okay, you know what, God, I'm making a commitment that I'm gonna change my ways, because I see that the brother actually is still in truth. Why do you think people who used to call me all these different things said I wasn't a true this and that? When I started doing these videos, that seemed to have magically went away. Why? Because they can't dispute the facts of what I'm sharing. And they know only a real trader who has been through the grind understands this part of the journey. Where's your live proof? Right here. I'm telling you the pain of it. This is better than showing proof on the charts. Somebody who really understands you and cares enough to tell you and come and help you and come back and give a helping hand to save your soul. What is your soul? Your mind, will, and emotions. Let's wrap it up. I'm almost done. We got to go. The Forex market, and some of you guys, please, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Oh my God. This video is so much on time. I beg you guys, please share this with some Forex traders. I didn't even think. That's why you pray before you do videos. Something just hit my head. I didn't even think about this. The thought that just hit my head is a lot of you guys just got your stimulus checks. And it is meant for you to allocate that money to pay your bills. But because of your gambling addiction, you're going to end up putting that money into the Forex market. And because you haven't changed the way you're approaching the market, all of that stimulus money that could have digged a hole out for your family, such as putting food up, paying a couple of bills to get the dogs off your back, you're going to continue with your addiction, and you're going to put that money into the trading account because you haven't been mentored. You refuse to invest into knowledge. You refuse to pay for mentorship, and yet you're trying to trade, and you're going to take your family's money, deposit it into, I'm praying to God that I'm catching somebody before they make this mistake. Lord, please let whoever, you don't just introduce thoughts to me for no reason. Whoever this person is, I pray that they see this video before they do that move, because their family is dependent on that stimulus money to take care of them, and they're about to gamble it away. Please share this video. My God, I didn't even think of that. The thought just literally hit my head just now. It literally just hit my head right now. I don't know who you are, but you needed to be here. That was not in my notes, and it just literally hit my head. Somebody about to mess up. Because the next one I was going to talk about is bankrupt you. Some of you guys, the reason that you're in a financial hole is not because you couldn't manage your money. It's because you put all that money into the Forex market and you weren't ready for what they were doing to you. Somebody said, don't gamble on your stimmy. Yeah, Keisha, you so funny. She said, don't gamble on your stimmy. Come on now, that's the truth. If you ain't dealt with your gambling addiction, your lack of self-control, it's going to be you, and your family is going to suffer because of it. I'm over time. Let's hurry up and finish. Here's what I need you guys to do. If I have said anything that of any truth to you, here's a simple way to fix your addiction. Simple way. One of two. Number one, you can do like I did and hate the hell out of this market. Lord, forgive me, but you got to hate this thing so bad until you're willing to do an actual emotional divorce from it and say, you know what, when I say I'm going to quit, I'm going to quit. And you don't have to quit permanently. You can give it a timeline. And you want to, God, this is so good. Lord, I wish I had a mentor like me when I was coming along the way. So sick of all these people with these videos, and nobody want to tell the truth to these people about how hard it is unless they learn. You want to test to see how much of a market addiction you have? All right, here we go. Here's my conclusion. Number one, hate the market to the point where you say, you know what? Today is what, March 14th. It's about 2 more weeks in the month of March. Tell yourself this, I'm going to stop trading, period, for 2 weeks. I'm not even going to look at the charts for 2 weeks. And I want you to write up a little sentence and sign it so that you have on paper as a commitment to yourself and say, God, I'm making this commitment to you. I'm going to quit trading for 2 weeks. I need a break. He's right. I do need a break. I'm in the trap. I'm in the trap. I can't even think straight no more. And I need to clear my head. So the rest of this month, I'm just not going to trade at all. Now watch what's going to happen. Watch this. You're going to know whether you're dealing with market addiction or not. Because yes, it may work for a day or two, but see if you're able to go the whole 2 weeks without looking at the charts at all or taking a trade. And if you can't, that means you're trapped. You're dealing with market addiction. They got you. And now you know the truth has been spoken today. The second person, you may not be dealing with market addiction to that level. And maybe you just need time to stop chasing money. And here's the beautiful thing about it. For those who got the stimulus check, this is great. Now you can use the stimulus check to pay the bills that you was trying to rush and get pips out of the market from. Use that money to pay your bills. And now you can slide your disco behind back into the dance floor of demo. Okay? So now use that stimulus check to help support your family, get yourself out of your hole, pay a couple of bills, put food on the table and some emergency money. And then you stay your behind in demo because now you don't have the excuse, well, I need to hurry up and find a way to make some money. No, they just gave you a check. You ain't got no excuse now. So don't put the stimmy money, it's just the stimmy, okay? Don't put your stimmy into the market. Put the stimmy towards the family. And now you have the luxury of taking 2 weeks, the rest of the month off, to just simply stay in demo and practice your craft. I teach my students about the ocean wave theory, about the slant pattern, about the SpongeBob square head. We make our own terminology to keep it kid friendly so that it's so simple, it's just no way you can't understand it. I don't use all these symmetrical triangles and the rising and falling wedges and this, that, and the other. It was too complicated. I couldn't understand it. The Docion channels, the Elliott wave theory, and I'm not saying I have the quarter point theories and all, and the market makers. You put all this stuff and you cram it into a confused head, you're gonna come out short. And many of those things actually work, but when you cram it into a confused mind, it's hard. And it wasn't until I hated Forex and I had to step away, and then I came back, and I was a lot more calmer. And God began to show me, Pat, do you see this right here? I was like, oh my freaking God. It was there the whole time. But I was so cluttered in my head, I couldn't see it. So it's not like when you come back to the charts are going to be different. They're going to be exactly the same. But your perception of them, because now you have a clearer head, it's going to be quite different. And therefore, success was always right there at your fingertips. But because you couldn't see it, because you're dealing with all this other stuff, the markets became a target. Let me rephrase that. You became a target to the market when the answer was literally just sitting right there square in your face and you couldn't see it. And so the way I coach my team now, we call Team Easy. The way I coach people is to see the markets a whole lot different and simple. So that, as a rule, you bet not be on them charts all day long because it doesn't require all that. You don't need to be on them charts I had one person said, man, before I came to you, he said, I literally was spending 8 to 14 hours a day on my charts, marking them up. I'm like, it's only 28 pairs. How in the heck are you? Never mind. I understand. I didn't do that many hours, but I remember being an absentee husband, spending hours upon hours, marking up charts, this and that. Still no confidence in my trade. And that's what some of y'all dealing with. You ain't got no confidence in your trade. You're trying to trade and you have zero confidence in what you're doing. And so even when you see the perfect setup that you were looking for, you're scared to pull the trigger. You're in a bad situation, lovely. Now in closing, going back to what I originally said. I'm 9 minutes over, I'm done. Because usually Sundays I only spend 1 hour. By the way, next weekend I'm going down to Los Angeles, to the Beverly Hills area. So I may do a video, I may not. So if I'm not here, I apologize. Me and my wife are going to go do some things. Okay? So if I'm not here, I apologize. Please forgive me. But let me say this. Remember I told you the story about my friend, Torrey Hunter, the baseball player, the pro baseball player. And now you understand why they were giving him millions of dollars on contract. Okay, I don't know if he's still playing now, but I remember, when he was playing, he had just got that $25 million contract. If you don't know what I'm talking about with this story, go back to the very beginning. And as you spend time listening to every step of everything I said, it's only an hour and some change. You can do it. Listen to everything from start to finish. And I promise you, this will probably be the biggest blessing for you at no cost. But when I told the story of my friend, Torrey Hunter, the baseball player, and what separates a pro baseball player from an amateur baseball player, notice it was never the skill. It was the mindset. Some of you guys, you don't realize that if you declutter your mind, you are already a professional trader. And let me leave you with this tip, and we're done. I have told my students, and now they're beginning to see. I said a full-time, write this down as your final note for today. Just in case I'm not here next weekend, you got more than enough to work on for now, especially if you're taking a break anyway from Forex for the next 2 weeks to get your head together. Because this is market psychology, not the stuff they're telling you about. This is market psychology. I told you that my students are now learning the truth of what I was teaching them and what I'm still teaching them. The truth is, there you go, Robert. Robert already put it in there. See, somebody, I can say that they know my thinking process before I can even say it. Robert, you didn't beat me to it. Yes, a full-time trader is technically a full-time waiter. Not a waiter at a restaurant, but a person who simply is just waiting around for what they're looking for. If you ever listen to any professional Forex trader, you will see that as a key factor. Why? Because they're not being emotional. They're looking exactly for what they're looking for, so they're not going to force a trade when there isn't one. They're going to take it on the chin like a real man or a real woman and put their big man, their big draws on, or their big girl panties on. And when they take a loss, it's just a simple loss and they keep it moving. They ain't whining, crying, and playing about it. Why? Because they have learned to zero in and leave their emotions in the locker room like a professional baseball player. Have you done that? Here's the benefit of being in a demo account. By being in a demo account, it actually allows you to completely divorce your emotional side to the market. Have you ever, I gotta say this and we're done. Have you ever noticed that when you trade in a demo account, you hardly even pay attention to it? Sometimes you forget it was running. You don't even tripping off of it. You forget about it. And if it wins, it wins. If it loses, it doesn't make a difference. There is no emotions about it. But you begin to trade with a live account and all hell breaks loose, not on the charts, but in your head. Have you ever noticed that? Type a number 20 in the box if you noticed that. Type of number 20. Have that happened to you? There's a reason for it. Because in the demo, it's just about what you see. In a live account, here's the scripture. Here's the scripture. Watch this. You don't have to believe in the Bible, but the principles are principles. There's a scripture, and I teach this to my students all the time. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, where your treasure is, there where your heart, my Hispanic family, your corazón, your heart. But it ain't talking about the beating heart in your chest. When it says heart there, it actually means part of your soul, your mind, will, and emotions. There where your heart be also. You can't disconnect your emotions from your actual real money. This is why I don't suggest that people start with a live account, especially if you're starting with a brand new strategy. You must slow down and be willing to just sit in a demo account for a little bit, test it, make sure it's real. So by the time you switch back over to a live account, you know your strategy works, you have a routine, and you're less emotional. Some of you guys, you ain't did that. That's why you caught in the trap now. You're too busy trying to make the pips as opposed to learning the lessons of the market. Because it would feel a whole lot better if you took a loss on the chin and you realize, oh, I need to tweak this thing. Well, thank God you did it in a demo versus trying to do it in a live account. Because now you pissed because you lost all this money when you could have just did it for free. But you're impatient. And the gentleman who originally asked me that question about tell me about pips, do you see why I said just hang on to the end of this? Hang on to the end. I got you, but not the way you thought I was going to get you. Everybody wants to talk about making money in pips, but ain't nobody talk about none of this. Stay in a demo account or take 2 weeks off. That's the solution. And it will give you time to regather yourself and get you together and restore dignity to your soul so that you can fully see the market for just what it is without your emotional state being involved. And by the time you get all that cleaned up, now you have a clean strategy, you have a way of trading, and we use what's called a mechanical system. There's no whole lot of thinking to it. You just go, you see it. If you don't see it, you come back tomorrow. You will win a lot of trades. You're going to lose a couple, but that's okay. It's part of the game, especially like last week. Last week, testing and toasting people up. It wasn't nothing personal. It was just the fact that the market was so freaking choppy because of the uncertainty of the stimulus check. And that's why Joe Biden, he was supposed to sign it on Friday. He signed that thing on Thursday. The market was so choppy, and it's nothing you can do about that. You would have took it personal. Why? Because you don't know how to detach. So you're the amateur baseball player coming on the field with all of your emotions and emotional garbage. And let me say, oh God, I got to stop. Some of you guys, you're going through relationship problems. I don't have time for this. I got to go. Oh God. I got to say this quickly. Some of you guys, you're already dealing with relationship problems. And then you're trying to bring all that emotional baggage to the markets. This is just too much stimuli. Oh God. I gotta go. I gotta go. Some of you guys, you filed for divorce. You're going through a breakup right now. Your emotions are all over the place. You drinking. You smoking. You're destroying your body. And you here trying to make money in the markets, and the market is just you really need a break. God, why am I? I hate doing these. But somebody out there needed to hear this. I don't know who you are. You're interfering with my video. I was going to stop. I don't know who I'm talking to. But you don't even need to be in demo. You need to take the 2 weeks off. Go on a mental vacation. Your whole life is falling apart. And Forex ain't making it no better. I don't know who you are. But I beg you to just stop. Stop. You got so much going on until you possibly are walking away or destroying a good relationship. Because even your relationship, you don't see it as for what it is. You don't see the markets for what it is. You don't see your relationship. And you're about to divorce or break up with somebody who you shouldn't be. You shouldn't. But you're so confused in a self-destructive mode until you're not seeing the good. Who are you? I don't know who you are. You interfering. Because I was supposed to stop this video. And I'm not a preacher, y'all. I'm God knows I ain't no preacher. I don't ever want to be a preacher. But when the truth has hit my head, I got to say it. And the Forex market ain't making it no better for you. This is the dark side of Forex. As I told you, one of my coders at the very beginning, go back and play it from the beginning if you didn't hear this from the beginning. And you hear what my coder said. He's doing great in his trading, but he's don't even want to talk about his personal. Some of you guys, that's you. And I said, for him, the only reason why he's the exception in trading is because he does coding in Forex for me for a living. But if it wasn't for that, he'd be just like you. So I don't even want to send him no more work or anything. I want him to work on that other side. This is Forex. It draws out the worst in you. Oh, I'm sorry, my wife down there. celebrating something. I'll go find out. I got to go. I really do have to go. If I don't see you guys next weekend, because again, I got to go down to the LA area and do some stuff with my wife. I apologize, but hopefully this video was helpful. I don't know who you are. You really bother me in my spirit. I'm gonna pray once I end this video. Somebody's going through hell. You need a break from Forex. It will be here when you get back. Forex has been around for God knows how long. It's currency. It's not going to go anywhere. The stock market is not going anywhere. Cryptocurrency is not going anywhere. But you are. You're going downhill quick. And you need to stop. You need to stop now. Maybe this was the only reason that you tuned in and caught me. It's because God is trying to rescue your soul. And what is your soul? Your mind, will, and emotions. God is, when you ask God to save your soul, realize what you're asking him. You're inviting him not into your heart, but into your head so that he can change your thinking. Because if you can change a man's or a woman's thinking, they become a brand new person. And that's what I'm trying to do with you guys here. You need a new way of thinking. Your soul is jacked up. And maybe God had you tune in today just to get your soul together. I don't know who you are. I feel bad for you. I really do. So I'm going to end this and I'm going to actually stay here for a moment. I'm going to go check and see what my wife is excited about and this and that. But I'm not going to, I'm going to stay up in this office and I'm going to go pray for you. I'm going to go pray for you. Because it's heavy on my heart. I don't know who you are. But Forex has just made it so much worse for you because nobody came and taught you this stuff. And if you know somebody who's dealing with this, do the right thing by them. Don't keep having these Forex strategy meetings with them. Tell them the truth. They need to take a break from everything. If you're going to be a real friend to them, then tell them the truth. No, today we're just not going to do Forex strategies. We need to take a break. Let me help you get back on your emotional and mental feet because you're about to self-destruct. That's what a real friend would do. And I didn't have that kind of friend. And my wife couldn't help me because she didn't understand what Forex was. She's a writer. She's a motivational speaker. She does these other things. And she motivated me and kept me encouraged while I was going through that painful journey myself. Of the different heartaches and pains I was going through. She knew I was going through stuff, but she didn't understand it because she's not a trader. You guys know I'm a trader. And you're a trader. So I'm here. I'm here. I care. Now, again, if you do want to join us, that's fine. Go to our website. The link is below. Super Easy Forex. I will be here on Tuesday and Wednesday class. Y'all know I love my classes. I'll be here on Tuesday and Wednesday. I won't leave until next weekend to go down to the LA area. But I'll be here on Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll be here glad to coach you and get you in the right direction. But if you're going through what I'm saying and you're this person who's on my mind, you don't need Forex yet. Just hold off. I'll be around. Don't worry about it. I'll be here. But let's get you together first. And let's make sure that the decision you're making as far as ending relationships or whatever destructive thing that God is putting on my heart, making my heart heavy for you, let's get that cleaned up first and make sure you're right. Because you know what? Here's the thing. This thing here, and I didn't know. I wasn't prepared for this. But I'll say this. Maybe you tuned in and this is what you needed to hear. And then if you actually get your head clear and possibly save that relationship, you might be a much more happier person. And then when you come back to Forex, you can go back and hear the same teaching and it's not going to be the same. Like me, I couldn't understand, for God knows, 3.5 years, I was studying market makers method. And it was just me. I was under too much going on. And I couldn't understand the market makers method. Now I'm in class, I'll be spotting it with my students. I say, y'all see this M and W? See, it's like I can just flash a chart in front of me. I'll say, oh, there it is right there. Oh, there it is right there. See, it's nothing. The charts didn't change. It needed me to change. I had too much going on. So I couldn't see it. And now I see it just like that. And I ain't even studying market maker method. But I can spot them just like that. Higher today, lower today, bam, bam, M's and W's. I just see it. And our trading system, it actually picks up. That's what's so cool about it. Because I didn't design the trading system for market makers. But when you trade with the system, oftentimes it picks up signal right after the market makers M's and W's are made. I don't even have to find them things no more. But in class, I'm like, y'all see this W? Y'all see this M? Y'all see this? Y'all see this? And see, the same thing I was struggling with back then when my mind was clogged up, I can spot it like that now. It's not the charts, it's you, loved one. Okay, I gotta go. Y'all got me going on 25 minutes over class. My class is only supposed to be 1 hour lecture on Sunday, and you got me over time. But I love you enough to have told you the truth, because the truth will set you free. This is the dark side of Forex. Y'all have a good one. Bye.